All these emotions in a triangle. I play the prosecutor. My goal is to hurt. You play the victim like being robbed by a perk. The rescuer will come along and save the day and make the pain go away. You can start in one role, but that easily switches. The pain of trauma runs so deep it need more than just stitches.
One day, Sarah's father texts her to tell her that he will be running late. Her stepdad comes outside and says, "If your father wasn't so selfish, he'll be here right now." Sarah felt offended and began an argument with him. She antagonizes him to get him angry so she can get hit by him to show how crazy he was. As Sarah continues to egg her stepfather on, she hears a voice come from behind her. It was her little brother. She quickly snaps out of it and grabs her little brother and calls the police. The police came upstairs, went into the room, and resolved the situation.
The trauma triangle can be a part of everyday life because you might be in a similar situation as Sarah, and you might have to play all the roles but not realizing that you play all the roles.
It can be a part of your everyday life because it shows you that you have a choice to decide what you want to be in a situation. You could be the prosecutor and do wrong, or you could be the rescuer and do right.
The triangle can be a part of everyday life because the triangle can represent in a fight or argument with someone else.
The trauma triangle can be a part of everyday life because everyone has arguments every day and go through situations every day that involve more than just one other person.
Trauma can be part of everyday life because through the situations you go through in life, you may not even know you're going through the trauma triangle. You could just be switching each role every day. Through the situation you even know it.
You can prevent trauma by walking away from a conflict or talking to someone, like a friend or relative.
Honestly, I don't think there's any way you can prevent trauma from happening. I think it just happens naturally throughout life, and they're just things that we have to go through.
You can prevent trauma from happening by using your system check, your self-care plan, or your safety plan.
Other solutions to not get involved in trauma is to use common sense, like don't talk back, avoid the conversation or the situation.
You can prevent it. Well, I don't think you can prevent it. I think it all depends on your surroundings.
Yes, there are many solutions. So you can stick to your self-care or safety plan to help yourself to not go through anything. And we can teach certain people to be respectful and to be cautious about certain people and situations.
What did you learn about the trauma triangle after you heard the story?
So with the trauma triangle, it is really easy for people to shift roles. So at one point, someone could be the victim in a situation, but could easily transition to being a persecutor, especially at times of conflict. People take turns attacking when their emotions are high and feeling victimized as well.
Who do you think played each role in the story?
So in the story, Sarah really gets an opportunity to be all three roles in the trauma triangle. So in the argument with her stepdad, she was at one point the victim when he was yelling at her, chasing her, threatening her. She was also at one point the persecutor when she was yelling at him and accusing and attacking him. Also, when she realized her younger brother was in the room during the argument, she went into the rescuer role when she realized that she needed to protect him. And then the police were also involved, and they were a rescuer in the situation.
How do people switch roles to the trauma triangle?
People switch roles as the little girl, she switched between the victim and prosecutor. The stepdad, he switched between the victim and prosecutor as well. The little girl also switched as to a rescuer when she went in the bathroom to protect her brother. The brother also was a rescuer, and the police was a rescuer.
Why do you think the characters move around the triangle?
I believe they moved around the triangle because the certain situation they was in, so they had to rotate between each different part of the triangle.
What did you learn about the trauma triangle after listening to the story?
After I watched or heard the story, I learned that a trauma triangle can have different perspectives and it can play all different roles.
Who did you think played each role in the story?
I think it was the stepdad. The stepdad played the prosecutor. The victim played Sarah, and the rescuer could have been the police or the brother.
All right. And lastly, why do you think each character rotates through the trauma triangle?
Because I think like they all moved around. Like Sarah could have been the prosecutor because she was egging him on to do whatever, and they were fussing back and forth. And the dad could have been the victim because they were fighting.
What did you learn about the trauma triangle after you watched the presentation?
I learned that everyone's a victim. No, everyone has a role in the situation.
Who do you think played each role in the story?
Sarah was a victim at first, and then she wasn't. I think her dad was a victim.
Why do you think each character rotates through the trauma triangle?
Because of what they do, their actions.
What did you learn after hearing the story?
One of the things that I learned was that a lot of times people can change their roles in the triangle without realizing that they're playing a different role.
Okay, who do you think played every role in the trauma triangle?
I think that if I start with the rescuer, the brother and the police were the rescuers because they helped to diffuse the situation. The brother not intentionally and the police intentionally. I think that the dad was definitely seen as the persecutor, but he could also have been seen as the victim of Sarah's aggression or provoking him. And then Sarah was also a victim and also a persecutor because she was trying to provoke her dad as well.
Do I have to say the last one?
Yeah, that's right.
Why do you think the character rotates through each role?
I think people can change roles in the triangle because when you're in a reenactment, you don't realize that you're in one. And a lot of times you are responding from your past experiences. And when you feel like you're a victim to something bad happening, you instantly want to try to defend yourself, which could easily lead you to become more of a persecutor. And then some people just have a natural tendency to play certain roles.